I'm Jay Taylor, and I'm the editor of Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks newsletter. It's a weekly and a monthly letter. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in downtown Vancouver. It's May the 25th, 2018, and I'm here with Darren Wagner. He is the president, CEO of Balmoral Resources, which is a company I've been following for a number of years. A lucky find, maybe you say, but one that you weren't looking for. You found what I think is a very significant nickel deposit with some other minerals as well, but that's the predominant one. Yep. Named the Grisette property. It's up in Quebec, in the Abitibi-Greenstone and Greenstone Belt. And then you also have the Martiniere Gold project, which is coming along nicely at a number of ounces. You just put out a resource. I can't for the life of me understand why the stock isn't behaving better, as a matter of fact, given all that you have. But as a matter of fact, when you came out with your first resource, the market didn't seem to like it very much, and I couldn't figure out why. Yeah, maybe you could talk about that to start with, and then we'll go on to some other topics.
I mean, the premise for us to go up where we're working was gold, obviously. We're just across the border from Detour. Gold was obviously a world-class operation just north of Hecla's Casa Berardi deposit. And Martiniere was our first find, the first of the two major deposits that we found. And I think the reaction to the resource was a bit of disappointment from people because it just wasn't as big as they hoped it would be. And in a tough market, then the reaction is obviously negative. The sentiment is negative. And it's not inconsequential. It's just about 650,000 ounces, all at very shallow depths.
Yeah.
400,000 of that commutes into an open pit at a little over 2 grams, which is twice the average grade.
Very
Detour.
nice. Yeah.
So we're pleased with that. We've already intersected the same grades and thicknesses of mineralization down to about 740 vertical meters. So there's clearly growth potential to it. But I think because it's been a bit of, we've been working on it for a little period of time, the market just expected it would be bigger when we chose to deliver the initial. And what the market maybe forgets a little bit is we actually took a 2-year detour, not to use the pun, but and went off with the Grisette discovery, with the nickel discovery.
Right, exactly.
And that was an area that we were targeting for gold. I mean, that's the predominant mineral in that belt. That's what the Abitibi is known for. The nickel deposit literally came out of nowhere. There wasn't any known up in that region. It's opened up a whole new belt of exploration for us. And it had to go quiet for a couple of years as well because the nickel market had been so bad. It is now red hot. If you go and look at what the nickel price has done over the last couple of years, it's every bit as good as the zinc and the copper that everybody loves. It's just coming from a lower place. But it's moving strongly forward. It's the core element in the whole electric vehicle story. It's the one that nobody ever talks, the quiet one that nobody ever talks about, that happens to be the bigger percentage of everything. And Grisette's kind of perfectly positioned to be part of that demand stream going forward. So we're going back to work with now the price having recovered in the nickel space. Going back to work on the nickel side, we just announced this past week that we've identified another intrusive suite like the one that hosts Grisette. So we'll be doing our first work on that. That's only about a kilometer away from the gold deposit. So it's very close. So the logistics on that are great for us as explorers. And and then on the gold side, that work's going to continue. We'll look to see if we can bring a partner in to help do the expensive, deeper drilling on the deposit itself. But we've also got a bunch of new discoveries in nearby targets at very shallow depths on the gold side. So we think the nickel deposit at Grisette can grow. The Martiniere deposit on the gold side can clearly grow. We've already shown that it's there. And we're still, we're 6 years into this, and we're still literally just scratching the surface on the land position that we control up there. It's 110 kilometers long. It's an hour and a half to drive that distance in Vancouver rush hour traffic. And so the opportunities are, the whiteboard of opportunities in our office is very large outside of those core assets as well. So we think the reaction to the resource has basically given you the nickel opportunity for free. Taken roughly 2 million ounces in inventory on the gold side, discounted that substantially. For Abitibi ounces, there's
Yeah,
some of the cheaper
yeah.
ones out there. So I think if you were holding the stock, you were disappointed. And we
Yeah.
understand that, and we're working hard to fix that and drive it forward. If you're looking for an entry point,
Yeah, that's
man,
right.
did you get handed a fantastic
Yeah.
entry point
Yeah,
here. We're not happy about it, but you did.
yeah,
And so I think, if you look at the sum of the parts here and the opportunity to maybe ultimately split this thing up as we move forward, as we begin to grow the nickel deposit again, I think there's a lot of good things in Balmoral, and certainly there's a really solid team sitting behind, and we have the money to go do it.
you have the money, so you're well financed to take you through this year, your
Yeah,
exploration
absolutely.
plans
100%.
on the Martiniere,
Yeah.
and do some on the Grisette.
Yep, and they're both in the plans for the summer program, which will kick off in June and continue well into the fall. And that's already, the plans are already in motion for that. And in behind that, we're continuing to look at other opportunities in particular in that, in both the gold and the nickel spaces.
Yeah, so you got a market cap of about 30 million, something like that. The Grisette project is really very advanced, and I think you were saying one of the few of that size and that advanced that are out there at a time when the nickel price is starting to rise. There's not many new ones coming on board, and yet there's a rising demand for nickel for batteries and
Yeah.
other high-tech things.
The projected demand stream is very significant, and it's hard to see exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot bigger than what it currently is. No, any way you cut it, there's not a battery element out there that doesn't take 50% in on the nickel side. Grisette is a clean Class 1 nickel sulfide deposit sitting underneath the road, sitting not all that far from the Canadian smelters. One of our neighbors is Glencore, who just happens to own one of those Canadian smelters. And it's open to continue to grow, and the whole intrusive system that hosts it is also open for exploration, and it's also pretty rare that these are one-offs. Very common that there are more than one in a given intrusive belt. So we're very excited to finally be able to go back to work on the nickel side after having to take a couple years off while nickel went through its price lull. And we think that's a great opportunity for our shareholders. And so whether you love the nickel or whether you love the gold, one of them you're getting for free right now. I think we're not happy. You're not happy with the share price where it is. It's disappointing to see it where it is. At the same time, I think the opportunity is pretty clear.
You sort of mentioned the possibility of a spin-off,
Yes.
if I understood what you said.
Yeah.
What would cause you to make that decision?
I think it's always difficult, and we've lived through this once before in the last company we ran. It's always difficult to get full value out of two disparate commodities, and sometimes you can get gold and silver to work together because they're both precious metals.
Yeah.
So I think as the nickel market recovers here, as there's strength in the nickel market, as there's financings done in the nickel market, and as we can begin to go back to work on that, it opens up the window to potentially do that. And I think the cue for us to be able to do that is to watch how that market's behaving, how the market's reacting to our renewed work at Grisette. Maybe to look to see if there's some other things that we can add to it. So you've got, much like the gold side in our equation, you have multiple assets on the nickel side. So all of those kind of play into it, but certainly that opportunity is there when the time is right to do so. And it's a lot closer to being right now than it was over the last 2 or 3 years.
I would have to agree with you, and the markets are really turning towards the commodities right now in general too. So I think there will be probably more interest in the junior sector, in the mining sector, when the equity market finally tops out, and Wall Street and Bay Street are looking for other places to put their money. Any last comments you might care to make?
No, I think like I said, I think the opportunity here is pretty clear. There's 2 advanced assets in here. In behind that, there are a series of other properties, some of which are already resource bearing on the gold side. There's an enormously attractive exploration land package that goes with it. There's money in the till. There's work going on. The market has basically done your de-risking for you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I said, I think
That's
the opportunity in the stock, I think, is pretty clear from this point forward.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. Thank you. It's a great story. I own the stock. I'm looking forward to your success
All right,
because
thank
that
you,
will
Jay.
mean mine.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, my pleasure, and thank you.
Take care.